My philosophy is that remarkable songwriting is made up of two things: craft and truth. And that if you have both of those things, you have emotional impact. And emotional impact is what creates remarkable songwriting. Because most people can barely say the pen is on the table in this foreign language of songwriting, and they're trying to discuss the meaning of life, you know? So you're trying to use many muscles when you write a song. You're trying to tell the story, pull the pictures out that tell your story, find the chords that on which that wonderful melody will sit, create a melody that has divergence between the verse and the chorus and will put the hairs on people's neck to stand up, and have the lyrics fit that melody and rhyme. You're trying to do all that at once? Are you kidding? I mean, especially if you haven't been doing it for like 30 years. Now, the potter can throw that pot in her head because she knows where to put her thumb and do that thing. She just throws that pot. But when you first start writing songs, like the first 25 years, you really need to know what you're doing. Every muscle has to be exercised. So in the course of 10 weeks, I exercise all the muscles, and I give you a step-by-step approach which will fool you into communicating at all times and never stop communicating and suddenly start songwriting. That's when you lose it. You just will communicate the whole time, and at the end of it, you have a really good song, and no one would ever believe. Sometimes it's the person's first song, and it's so much better than people who've been writing sometimes for 15 years. I would be so thrilled if I had the time to write on a daily basis. When I have the opportunity to write, I'm so thrilled. But I do have a chapter in my book called Writing in Space, and I believe that writing is done in a kind of headspace. It's not done in time. So even if you have no time at all, if you've just fallen in love, or you've just lost someone, or you've just had a baby or something, you will write. It's standing in line at the grocery store. You'll write when you're driving. You'll write in the shower, because you need space to write in, not time. So no, I don't write every day. I write when it hits me, or when the phone rings, like they say. When someone tells me, like for this film I just finished, Henry Jaglom called and said, we need a song, and we need it's like longing. We need a song of longing, And I thought I had already written a song, so I wrote it, and I said, I have to play it for you. We're going to shoot the scene in like 2 days. He said, well, just play it on the set. So the first time he ever heard the song, they were shooting it. And anyway, so we did it twice, luckily, because the first time, the first time you play a song. And I have people who are so good it would make your teeth hurt. I mean, you would not believe how good these people are. Well, Alex is one of them. And then Tracy Newman and Mark Cote and Andrea Ross Green. These people are so good. You think, why are they studying? Well, they get better. No matter how good you are, you can still get better. And I learned so much from them.
Or how many drafts does it take to finish a song? Like, you do it in 1 or 2 drafts, or it takes how long? When do you know when a song is finished?
Oh, well, that's a different question. Neutra, the architect, went to the house 20 years after he designed it and knocked on the door and said, that window, I have to change it. An artist is never finished with his work, but because of the method I use, when people write with this step-by-step method, they pretty much have the song by the time it's done. There's only one rewrite step, and it's often not done. But if you were to sit down and do it the way most people do, it might take 15 rewrites. But I don't believe in that because I don't like throwing out my babies, destroying these perfect lines. They shouldn't have been in that song in the first place. So I just write it the way it should have been, and then I don't have to do that. Prosody, how the words fit the music. And if you have words first, you can just say them out loud and try to find the rhythm. What beat you start your line on is extremely important. A lot of people will start every song like on the downbeat, like the first accented syllable is on 1. That is so boring. If you think about it, you could try all sorts of different ways. You could go 1 oanda and start on the of oanda, or start on the and or something. If this is foreign to you and you've never counted or anything like that, just kind of have a drum machine going and start at different times. You know, you don't have to really know a lot of music theory to get this. It's a feel thing. But if you can't feel it and you're going to clap on the one, get a collaborator. You know? The steps are designed to give you lots of options and then focus you. Give you lots of options and then focus you, so that like a boat tacking into the wind, you start here and you get exactly where you want to go by correcting and correcting. And it's not so much editing as it is focusing. You know, you have a lot, you want to open the floodgates so you'll have every idea you could possibly have for this song, but you've got to focus in on one because you can't write all of them. And then the next one, you open it and focus. So the good thing is to create a song that has the emotional impact on the listener that the experience had on you. And that's my goal with you, with everyone I teach, is I know that whatever you're writing about had a tremendous effect on you, or you wouldn't be inspired to write about it for 10 weeks. So let's see if we can get that same emotional impact on the listener. And generally, if you do it according to the steps, it will have that. And that's so satisfying when you're up at an open mic and you're not just singing, you know, like some of these people. They're at the movie and the other people aren't even in the theater. I mean, they don't know what they're talking about. But if you really communicate clearly and you have a melody that makes people go, oh, you know, that the wavelength on which your lyric travels, that melody and the chords, I cannot overemphasize how important that is. And a lot of people say, you know, I teach lyrics and stuff, because I do spend a lot of time on trying to get the lyrics perfect, but the melody is also emphasized, and the chord progressions. It's very important. So, well, I've been to panels where, you know, these music supervisors will hear a perfect verse, bridge, verse song with the title at the end of each verse. And they'll go, where's the chorus? Where's the chorus? I mean, you know, hello. Listen to the radio lady, you know. There are hundreds of songs that don't have choruses. They didn't have choruses until the 60s. And back in the standards, none of those songs had choruses. And today, you know, there are so many songs. I mean, I Love You Just the Way You Are, Yesterday. I mean, granted, that's not today. This guy went into a record store, this young man, and he said, I'm looking for the classical section. A person did. And the young salesperson said, oh, you mean like Elvis? I'm sorry. But anyway, the point being that verse, bridge, verse is on country radio, it's on pop radio, it's everywhere. You know, if you have that hook really strong at the end of every verse, and you can twist that meaning to where it means something different every time, and people think you're a genius, and it's not rocket science. So I don't really know. You know, they love those big choruses. The businessmen that make the decisions, the ones who are still chasing the young boys who are downloading for free, the ones who are trying to appeal to the people who haven't bought a record since they were born, those people need to hear choruses, and you still want to please them, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. You know, don't we?
Yeah.
I hope this isn't going on YouTube.
What's the purpose of the bridge?
Oh, the bridge is my very favorite thing to write. So glad you asked me that. I think it's a way of, like, first of all, you know, Edmund St. Vincent Millay once said that life is not one damn thing after another. It's the same damn thing over and over. But in songwriting, you can't do that. You can have verse, chorus, and eventually people are going to go, give me something else, and that's what a bridge is. It's not only melodically a change, but it's also like a different look at your story, come at it from like a whole different viewpoint. Songs that have bridges that have choruses too, like a verse, chorus, bridge, that's just like you're looking at that song in a whole different way. A bridge in a non-chorus song is just the other section. It's also another way of looking at it, but it's not a summing up thing like a chorus. So bridges are so much fun to write because you can just like say all the stuff you wanted to say and it wasn't quite pertinent to a verse or a chorus. Because a verse is sort of conversational, setting up the chorus. And then a bridge can be, the real reason I started this whole conversation was, It's great, bridges. Oh, love them.